San Francisco Department of Elections has prepared this 5-part presentation to provide essential information about the upcoming November 5th, 2024 Consolidated General Election. This presentation will cover election security and trusted sources of election information, how to register to vote, ballot contests and formats, ways to get and cast your ballot, and how to get more involved in your local elections. Part 1. Election security and trusted sources of election information. You may have heard many people talking about election misinformation and election security this year, so let's start by addressing these topics. As you may know, misinformation is simply false or misleading information. While sometimes this misinformation is spread intentionally to deceive others, more often it is just a misunderstanding spread by misinformed people. For voters looking for election information, what matters most is knowing where to find information that is both accurate and reliable. If you prefer to get your information online, a good place to start is our website, sfelections.gov. There, you can view your voter information pamphlet or sign up to receive election news and updates directly to your email inbox from sfelections.gov/trustedinfo. You may also check our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube at sfelections. If you prefer traditional print materials, we recommend reading the Voter Information Pamphlet, or VIP, provided to every voter at the start of each voting period. You can also reach out to us directly to ask about any election-related topics by emailing sfvote@sfgov.org or calling us at 415-554-4375. If you happen to encounter potential election misinformation or problematic rumors, please alert us at sfvote@sfgov.org or alert the California Secretary of State office at votesure@sos.ca.gov. Election security is vital. To learn about election security in San Francisco, please visit our election security page at sfelections.gov/security. Here is where you will find key facts about frequently misunderstood election topics and key information about San Francisco's voting system technology. Part 2. How to register to vote. Now that you know how to find accurate election information and how to report misinformation, let's move on to the first step to election participation, your voter registration. To be eligible to cast a full ballot in San Francisco this November, you must be a United States citizen, a current resident of San Francisco, and at least 18 years old by Election Day. You may not be currently serving a prison term for the conviction of a felony, and may not be currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court of law. Certain non-citizen residents of San Francisco can cast a ballot for school board contests only, a topic that we will get to a little bit later. If you possess a valid California driver's license or identification card, the easiest way to register to vote or to update your voter details within California is to fill out the online registration form at registertovote.ca.gov. You may choose to register to vote or update your voter details using a paper registration form. You can receive this form at many government offices, public libraries, or by calling the Department of Elections directly to have one sent to you. You can return this paper registration form either by mail or hand delivery. If you move to another state, or will otherwise be out of San Francisco for an election period, please contact the department so we may send you the forms necessary for your unique situation. To receive a vote-by-mail ballot, you must complete your voter registration 15 days prior to Election Day. This means to receive a ballot by mail for the November 5th, 2024 general election, you must register online or by mail by October 21st. Since most people find it convenient to vote by mail now, please keep this deadline in mind. After this date, you can still register to vote with California's same-day voter registration process using a provisional envelope at your voting location. Completing a voter registration form usually takes just a few minutes. You will be asked to provide information such as your name, address, and date of birth. If you are a new voter, you will either need to provide your driver's license, state identification, or social security number. If you do not provide this information, your registration will be pending and you will need to show an acceptable form of identification later on to complete your registration process. If you are unsure whether you are registered to vote in San Francisco, or if you want to check your registration information is up to date, you can call 415-554-4375 or visit sfelections.gov/voter-portal. Anywhere in California, you can check your registration status using voterstatus.sos.ca.gov. For every election, the Department of Elections mails your ballot and other election materials to the address provided on your registration. Complete a new registration card to serve as an update when you change your address, your name, or other voter details. If you move out of California, you will need to cancel your California voter registration with your county elections office. For security, your signature will be required to authorize these changes to your voter file. We understand your signature may change over time. If your signature changes, please re-register to include your new signature on your voter file. If you vote by mail, we will check the signature on your ballot return envelope to make sure you were the one who completed your ballot. If you vote in person, we will check the signature on your voter roll. Next, let's take a few minutes to talk about registering to vote under special circumstances. A voting residence is usually a voter's home address. Voters must register where they live or reside because this determines which contests will appear on their ballot. However, college students in California studying away from home may choose to register to vote using either their school address or their home address. This is because, in a sense, the student lives in both of those places. Similarly, a person without a fixed permanent address may use the location where they usually stay, such as cross streets or a homeless shelter, as their residential address for voter registration. They may also provide a mailing address, such as a post office box or a business address, to receive ballots and other election mail. However, any San Francisco voter who is unable to receive ballots by mail or who prefers to vote in person may do so at the City Hall Voting Center or a local polling place. In 2020, voters passed Proposition 17, which amended the California state constitution to allow otherwise eligible residents on parole to register and vote. The only Californians involved in the justice system who cannot vote are those currently serving a prison term for the conviction of a felony. Eligible San Franciscan voters living abroad may register using their last local residential address. This is also true for San Franciscans serving in the military and their families. To register to vote from overseas or while abroad, a voter needs to complete an FPCA, or Federal Postcard Application, and return it to the Department of Elections. You may find more information about being an overseas citizen voter at fvap.gov. The California Secretary of State administers the Safe at Home program for voters in life-threatening situations. The Safe at Home program offers victims of domestic violence, stalking, sexual assault, human trafficking, and elder or dependent adult abuse, as well as reproductive health care workers, a substitute mailing address to receive first-class, certified, and registered mail. This program can provide voters with a substitute mailing address for the receipt of their election mail and keeps the person's residence address confidential. Since the program began in 1999, Safe at Home has helped protect thousands of Californians. For more information about this program, please call the California Secretary of State at 877-322-5227 or email safeathome@sos.ca.gov. It is important to know that you do not need to be a U.S. citizen to vote in the local school board contest. To be eligible to vote in the school board election, a non-citizen must be at least 18 years of age on Election Day, a San Francisco resident who intends to remain here until at least Election Day, and the parent, legal guardian, or caregiver of a child under the age of 19 living in San Francisco. They must also not be disqualified from voting under state law for imprisonment or mental incompetence. Non-citizen voters for school board elections in San Francisco must use a dedicated registration form and will receive a special one-card ballot listing the school board contest only. Non-citizens cannot vote in any other local, state, or federal election contests in San Francisco. You can find a wealth of information about this topic at sfelections.gov/ncv or by attending one of our presentations on non-citizen voting. This completes the section on voter registration. In the next section, we will talk about your November 5th, 2024 general election ballot, contests, and formats. Voters in San Francisco will have a number of choices to make when they mark their ballots in the November 5th, 2024 general election. Remember, you do not need to vote on every contest for your ballot to be counted. Federal contests that will appear on the ballot include President and Vice President, United States Senator from California for a full term, United States Senator from California for the partial or unexpired term, and United States House of Representative members from Districts 11 or 15. State and regional offices include State Senator from District 11, State Assembly members from Districts 17 or 19, and BART Board members from Districts 7 or 9. Local contests include Mayor, City Attorney, District Attorney, Sheriff, Treasurer, Board of Education members, Community College Board members, and Board of Supervisors members for Districts 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or 11. Finally, San Francisco voters can decide on state and local ballot measures, which are newly proposed laws. So yes, this ballot is going to be a really big one. Let's talk about how you can find official, nonpartisan information about all of the contests on your upcoming ballot. Now, if you decide to do your research before completing your ballot, you will want to get an early start. Not only will starting early give you a chance to learn about the contests and candidates, it will also give you a chance to become familiar with the rules for each contest. 29 days before Election Day, the Department of Elections will send all local voters the San Francisco Voter Information Pamphlet and Sample Ballot. This pamphlet provides information about local candidates, ballot measures, and voter resources. It also includes a sample ballot you can use to mark your choices while doing your research. This will make marking your official ballot much easier. All voters will also receive a voter information guide from the California Secretary of State. That guide contains the information about state candidates and measures. You will get both of these guides by mail unless you opt out. When you opt out, you will be sent an email or postcard with a link to your online voter information pamphlet. This saves paper and tax dollars. The online version is also available in multiple languages. To opt out, visit our website at sfelections.gov/paperless. Call or email our office with your request. When you are ready to mark your ballot, you will notice that the local contests have a special format. You will see there is a grid with the list of candidates on the left and potential rankings at the top. This format is for ranked choice voting. San Francisco voters have used ranked choice voting to fill most local offices since November 2004. Because each voter can rank multiple candidates in their order of preference, up to 10, ranked choice voting avoids the need to hold a runoff election. Offices that will use ranked choice voting in this election include mayor, city attorney, district attorney, sheriff, treasurer, and members of the Board of Supervisors. In a ranked choice contest, we list the candidates in the far left column and the potential ranking number in the top row. When voting in the contest, you may rank your preference for up to 10 candidates. To mark your vote on the ranked choice grid for your first choice candidate, fill in the oval in the first column. To rank your second choice candidate, fill in the oval for them in the second column. For your third choice candidate, fill in the oval in the third column, and so on up to 10 candidates. To make sure all your ranking votes are countable, please keep these tips in mind. Do not give the same rank to more than one candidate, like this. Do not rank the same candidate more than once, like this. You do not have to rank all listed candidates. You may skip candidates if you prefer. Also, keep in mind, you can use the blank spaces to write in qualified candidates who are not listed. Now, you may be wondering how we count ranked choice votes. We use a multi-round process. In the first round, we count all the first choice votes for every candidate. If a candidate receives a majority, that is, more than 50% of first choice votes during this round, then that candidate has received the most votes and counting is complete. However, if in this round no candidate has received more than 50% of votes, we move to the next round. In each round, we eliminate the candidate with the fewest votes. If a voter's top choice candidate is eliminated, their vote will be counted for their next choice. If there is again no candidate with a majority of votes, we repeat this process, eliminating the candidate with the fewest votes and counting the voter's next choice. We repeat this process until a candidate receives a majority of voter approval, over 50% of votes. In this way, San Francisco assures the elected candidate is the one with support from a majority of voters. For voters who may not be familiar with ranked choice voting, or just simply need a refresher, we have created a practice ballot at sfelections.gov/practicercv. Please feel free to try it out. Part 4. Ways to get and cast a ballot. In this next section, let's review ways to get and cast a ballot, which of course you need to know in order to participate in this election. Any local voter can vote by mail or in person. In early October, the Department of Elections will begin sending vote-by-mail packets to all local voters. Each packet will include a ballot, an instructional insert, a postage-paid return envelope, and an I voted sticker. The same week, we will also open the accessible vote-by-mail system at sfelections.gov/access. This online portal provides screen-readable ballots and is compatible with personal assistive devices. Any local voter can access a ballot through the system by entering their house number, zip code, and date of birth. The voter can then mark, print, and return their ballot printout. Please be sure to sign your ballot envelope. Whether you use a vote-by-mail ballot or a printed accessible ballot, you must return it using an envelope. You can return your ballot one of 3 ways: by mail, by hand delivery to an official drop box, or by hand delivery to an in-person voting location, that is, a local polling place or your City Hall voting center. No matter which return method you choose, be sure to return your ballot on time. Ballots returned to a drop box or returned in person must be received before 8 p.m. on Election Day, November 5th, 2024. Ballots returned by mail must be postmarked by November 5th, and these must be received by the department no later than November 12th. In particular, if you wait until Election Day to mail your ballot, check the pickup times on the blue mailbox. If you see you have missed the last pickup time, please do not use that mailbox because your ballot will not be postmarked on Election Day and will not be counted. Instead, please find a USPS mailbox with a later pickup time at usps.com/locator or return your ballot to any voting site or official drop box before 8 p.m. In the November 2024 general election, you can choose from 37 official drop boxes located throughout San Francisco, all open 24/7 for 29 days before Election Day. Ballot boxes will open on October 7th. To find a convenient box location anywhere in the city, go to sfelections.gov/ballot drop-off. Do you want to track your ballot from assembly up through counting? Go to sfelections.gov/voter portal. Call the department at 415-554-4375 or sign up for notifications at where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov. If you want to vote by mail and did not receive a ballot packet in the mail, or the ballot you received has been spoiled, you can order a replacement through the San Francisco voter portal, by calling the department, or receive your replacement the same day by visiting the City Hall Vote Center. Before we move on, let's take a moment to review what we have learned about voting by mail. Approximately 1 month before Election Day, all registered voters will be sent ballot packets in the mail. Registered voters will be able to access the accessible vote-by-mail system at sfelections.gov/access. And to be counted, vote-by-mail ballots must be returned or postmarked by 8 p.m. on Election Day. Now, let's review in-person voting options. At the City Hall Voting Center, any eligible San Francisco resident can register to vote, receive or return their vote-by-mail ballot, or vote in person on paper, touchscreen, or audio ballot. In this election, the City Hall Voting Center will be open as follows. Weekdays starting October 7th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please note, we will be closed October 14th in observance of Indigenous Peoples' Day. We will be open weekends starting October 26th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we will be open on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, for extended hours from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. The voting center is on the ground floor of City Hall. On weekdays, you can enter through any of the building's entryways. On Grove Street, entryway is accessible. Dr. Carlton B. Goodlett Place, Polk Street, Van Ness Avenue, entryway is accessible. On weekends, you will need to enter through the Grove Street entryway. And here's a useful tip. Early on, there's no line at the City Hall Voting Center. On Election Day, all city polling locations will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Any eligible local voter can register to vote, receive or drop off a mail ballot, or cast a paper or accessible ballot at their assigned polling location. To find your assigned polling place, go to sfelections.gov/myvotinglocation. Contact us, or you can check the back cover of your voter information pamphlet for your assigned location. Translated ballots and materials are available at all in-person voting sites. Any voter may request a bilingual ballot in English and either Chinese, Spanish, or Filipino, or a translated copy of the voter information pamphlet. A local voter may request a facsimile ballot in Burmese, Japanese, Korean, Thai, or Vietnamese, used to refer to when marking their official ballot. At most in-person voting locations, the department will provide in-person bilingual assistance in several languages. In addition to this, phone translation will be available in hundreds of languages. To request a translated mail ballot or other election materials, visit sfelections.gov/voter-portal. A number of accessibility resources will be available at all in-person voting locations. For example, any voter may choose to use accessible voting tools such as a page magnifier, signature guide, pen grip, or marking a touchscreen or audio format ballot using a ballot marking device. Any voter can also request ballot marking assistance from a poll worker or curbside voting service. Curbside voting allows voters who are unable to come inside a voting facility to vote from outside. In short, poll workers and department staff are always available to help. To recap, all San Francisco voters can choose to mark and return a regular paper ballot, mark, print, and return an accessible ballot, vote at the City Hall Voting Center, or vote at their local neighborhood polling place. Part 5. How to get more involved. In this last section, we will wrap up with a short review of a few ways members of the public can get more involved with San Francisco elections. In every election, we hire over 2,000 poll workers, many of whom are bilingual, to staff the city's 501 polling locations. You can help your community and earn up to $295 by serving as a poll worker on Election Day. To find out more or to apply, please go to sfelections.gov/PWA or call 415-554-4395. We also hire many temporary workers for each election cycle. If you are interested in employment with the Department of Elections, please visit sfelections.gov/careers. Anyone can observe election operations, such as ballot processing, either in person or remotely. You will find a calendar of observable processes at sfelections.gov/observe, or you can call 415-554-4375. You can also join an advisory committee and have a say in how elections are conducted. These groups provide input on topics like accessible voting, language access, and poll worker service. To learn more and join a committee, go to sfelections.gov/committees. This concludes our presentation. We hope you found it informative. As we mentioned at the start, you can learn more about any of the topics covered today by visiting sfelections.gov. If you have any questions or need help registering or voting, please do not hesitate to call our outreach team at 415-554-4375 or write to us at sfoutreach@sfgov.org.